Dr. Nirma Oza. So, requesting each one of you to please stand up for the national anthem. Gujarat, Maratha, Dravid.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிர் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Can I request distinguished guests to inviting now Dr. Y20 and Auroville, Secretary of the Auroville Foundation, to give a small presentation on Auroville. Thank you.
Good evening. A very, very special welcome to all of you here. And we want to reach out to all of you with a special vanakkam, namaste, good evening, and varga varga. Welcome to all of you here to this beautiful evening. 4 o'clock on this day in the year 1910, Sri Aurobindo first landed at Pondicherry, and that then led to a lot of things that he offered, that he wrote, that he gave for the whole of humanity, of course, for Mother India. And today, this beautiful township where we're all privileged to be seated here, living here, is something that has directly, it's an effect, a result of his direct force, and something that was founded here many years ago. As the mother says, the purpose, the mother who was his spiritual collaborator, the purpose of Auroville is to realize Y20 movement, of which India is now enjoying the moment of moment of pride of being its president this year, with the theme of One Earth, One Family, One Future, which is rooted in the Indian tradition of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I want to extend a very special warm welcome to our Honorable Chairman and the Governor of Tamil Nadu, Sri R.N. Ravi. We also want to welcome Sri Anirban Ganguly, who is one of the main people, the chair of the Y20 at the All India level. We also take this occasion to welcome Dr. Nirma Oza, member of the governing board of Auroville Foundation. There is a special high-level committee which has been constituted and chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister of India Committee, Dr. Ananda Reddy. In spite of his health, he's just recovering. This is perhaps his first function. We welcome him with a great deal of respect. We also welcome Divya Swapnaraj and especially Falit Sijaria ji, Sri Falit Sijaria, who is India's official representative to the Y20. Can I request Falit ji to stand up if he's here? And he can probably come to the first row as well if he's here. Maybe he's just on his way or he's on right here. Now, we wanted, because all of you are here, a quick show of hands to know how many of you are visiting Auroville for the first time. Can you please raise your hand? Okay, there is a good number there. So we wanted to give you a quick history of this place, this beautiful city, a city for human consciousness, for really building human consciousness. Next, please. So this is a city which was founded 55 years ago on the 28th of February, 1968, as a city of the future, and actually living the principles on which the G20 now is founded, that of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. Next, please. On that very special day, the month of February, end of February that year, about 5,000 people from all across India and the world congregated, came together. And this was recognized also by the government of India and UNESCO as a very special township. And it had a dedicated charter, which is the basis of the Act of Parliament that later, much later, came into force in the year 1988. Next, please. Named after Sri Aurobindo, Auroville is based on his evolutionary vision of humanity, which says that the next stage in evolution is about having a dense assembly, a dense collection of people with a very raised consciousness, so that the average consciousness levels can rise up beyond the current level which is found, which is more of a level that is based on the mental stage of evolution, where we tend to look at from a sense of ego, of differentiating between us and the other. And this is, of course, as we all know, it's the 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo, and his birthday falls on the 15th of August, so which is also a very special moment for us, because this is also the year that we're celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Next, please. As we look at this very, very bold, beautiful, aesthetic, audacious dream of a city that Mother and Sri Aurobindo, based on his writings in Life Divine, The Human Cycle, and so on, Mother actually gave shape to it with a special architect and town planner that she commissioned for this. We're also coincidentally, sometimes in history, as the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, recently when he was doing the special function to commemorate the 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo, during the release of the commemorative stamp and coins, he mentioned that there are moments in history when there is a coincidence of a lot of things happening at the same time. So this year not only happens to be the 75th birth anniversary of India, the 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo, the 55th birthday of Auroville as well, and also the 100th, the centenary of Roger Anger, who was the architect, who is the one who actually gave shape to what the Mother visualized, and they worked with a lot of back and forth, with a great deal of focus for nearly 3 years, where he set up a team in Pondicherry and in Paris. So this is a city meant for 50,000 people with 4 zones, the residential, cultural, industrial, international, and it is held by what Mother likened to the crown, a spinal cord. The center of it, the soul of Auroville, is the Matra Mandir that you will all be visiting. The delegates of Y20 will be visiting tomorrow. There's a green belt that is surrounding it, and that was also a part of the plan, and a green and sustainable city. So many of these ideas are far ahead of contemporary human times. So even the green and sustainable city was something she had dreamt of way back in the late 60s, when it was still not a buzzword. It is a buzzword today. Similarly, they spoke back then of a city of raised consciousness, which is yet to be a buzzword across the world. In fact, in her own handwriting, she said that the city, especially the crown, would only have e-vehicles, much before we heard of Tesla and so on, where the speed of vehicles would be about 15 kilometers per hour. So that is the kind of sensitivity, consciousness the city has. We'll quickly take you through some slides. Next, please. It talks of Matra Mandir. As we said, it's the soul of Auroville, and tomorrow you will be visiting this with the gardens of Matra Mandir. Next, please. This is the beautiful auditorium where you are all seated currently. This is the Sri Aurobindo Auditorium, and this is actually a part of what has come to be known as the Pavilion of India, Bharat Nivas. So this is the zone of India, and this is something that Mother gave a lot of emphasis on, and she didn't want it to be frittered with several pavilions of different states, union territories, but she wanted it to be a dense collection in one single place. So this is the special feature of the city. Next, please. You now see the peace table, one of the 3 that are today existing across the world. And this was again a special gift by George Nakashima. And you will be visiting this tomorrow at the Unity Pavilion. Some of you would be staying at the Tibetan Pavilion. You'll get to see this. And we also have the Savitri Bhavan. Again, the only place in Auroville where we also have a statue which recognizes the person based on whose teachings, direct action, and philosophy this whole city has been founded. Of course, with the full involvement of his spiritual collaborator, the mother. Next, please, a little glimpse of the art and cultural activities that happen here. As Sri Aurobindo says, between them, art, music, and literature are a perfect training for the soul. So this place really tries to embody and make it available as a place to encourage, to facilitate, to help nurture all these dimensions of the being. And this is a little sample of the various activities. Education, next please. So this is a city where the idea, it was meant to be a city as an aid to building consciousness, a city as an ode to building consciousness. And so the schools are also meant to be, that has been the original vision and dream, to really be a place where human consciousness can be cultivated in a very culturally mixed society, and which is not limited to a conventional form of education. Next, it is also a city which is very socially conscious, environmentally conscious, and there's a lot of entrepreneurship happening there. You're seeing many of the initiatives which have started here and are impacting different parts of the globe. Next, please. On renewable energy and sustainable technology too, we are net positive today. We have the smart mini grid project, and there are many such initiatives which Auroville is very proud to have to share the incredible work that has happened here. Next, in the area of architecture and housing too, you can see some of the samples of the beautiful work that has happened, but yet there's a lot more now that we have to do. The next slide tells you and gives you a little glimpse of the organic food forests or the forestation work that has happened here, farms and so on. Of special mention would be for areas, green buffer zones such as Aranya, which is really a good collection of indigenous trees. We also have a visit to Sadhana forest that has been planned for the delegates on the 6th morning. You will be having your lunch also tomorrow at one such farm. Next, please. The future. It's now time also for the next point of inflection, next phase of growth, where we're really looking at partnerships with youth of various institutions, national, international, various universities, cultural centers across India and the globe, industries, and various institutions, particularly governments of various countries, including the government of India. And we would really like to invite more and more of young people as visitors, volunteers, also as interns, and eventually as fellows. And if there is an alignment in terms of what they seek and what Auroville offers, if there's a possibility of their getting integrated into Auroville. And those of you interested may write to us at secretaryavfg20@gmail.com. It will come in the last slide as well to really take this forward. Now, we also, given that this is the 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo, and 112 years ago at 4 o'clock this day at Pondicherry, he actually set his foot, landed here, and then that marked the beginning of a very special new phase in his life. Next. There are some words of his that are as motivating today, full of power, full of energy for each one of us. And so I wanted to read out a few of these for us. And also, particularly, it is the young who must be the builders of the new world. All who are free in mind and heart to accept a complete truth and labor for a greater ideal. He then goes on to say, they will need to consecrate their lives to an exceeding of their lower self, to the realization of God in themselves and in all human beings, and to a whole-minded and indefatigable labor for the nation and for humanity. Next. The future belongs to the young, and he further goes on to say, but it is also a world of truth, courage, justice, lofty aspiration, and straightforward fulfillment which we seek to create for the coward, for the self-seeker, for the talker who goes forward at the beginning and afterwards leaves his fellows in the lurch. There is no place in the future. Now, may I request all of the members of the audience who are young to please stand up. All the young people in the audience, and youth is just a number. As Mother has said, it has nothing to do with your biological age. And if I may request you to repeat these lines, a brave frank, clean-hearted, courageous and aspiring youth is the only foundation on which the future nation can be built. Next, please. I request you to repeat these lines which have been given to us by the mother. To be young is to live in the future. To be young is to be always ready to give up what we are in order to become what we must be. To be young is never to accept the irreparable. And then another quote for all of us: to know how to be reborn into a new life at every moment is the secret of eternal youth. Thank you. Please take your seat. And we finally end with these words, which were the opening words when this beautiful city was founded 55 years ago. Greetings from Auroville to men, all men and women of goodwill, women intended in it. All men of goodwill are invited to Auroville, all those who thirst for progress and aspire to a higher and truer life. Welcome to Y20 at Auroville. Namaste, vanakkam, good evening. We take this opportunity to extend a very warm welcome to Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Pondicherry, Madam Tamilisai Soundararajan, who has been a great support of all that is happening here. She's a member of our governing board, and Madam, we welcome you with all our heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that warm invitation. May I have the honor of inviting all our dignitaries onto the stage to light the lamp, and then we begin the proceedings for the day. Honorable Governor and Chairman of Auroville Foundation, Sri Ravi, Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, Dr. Tamilisai, Sri Anirban Ganguly, Director of the Foundation, Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, Dr. Ananda Reddy, I'm going to invite Malika to do the chanting of Sri Aurobindo Gayatri Mantra.
तत्सवितुर्वरं रूपं ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपयेत् सत्येन दीपयेत् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरं रूपं ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपयेत् सत्येन दीपयेत्
Also inviting Dr. Divya of the Women's League Federation to please come onto the stage. May I request our team to just present as a small token of appreciation for graciously consenting to be on the dais and with us today. May I invite Shri Anirban Gangulyji, Director of Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, to say a few words.
Namaste, Vanakkam. Good afternoon, Bon après-midi, and Susayam also. Very respected, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu and Chairman of Auroville Foundation, Shri R.N. Ravi. And if I may say, I have had the privilege, I've had the good fortune of knowing him for more than a decade and of having received his guidance and his affection. Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Pondicherry, Dr. Tamilisai ji, Secretary Auroville Foundation, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, Member Auroville Governing Board, Dr. Nirima Ojha, Official Delegate of Y20, the youngest official delegate of Y20, Falit Sijaria, Professor Anand Reddy, an iconic figure in the realm of Sri Aurobindo studies, friends on the dais. I'm extremely honored and delighted to be here, and I would really like to thank Auroville Foundation and Dr. Jayanti Ravi and Chairman Sir for so proactively taking the initiative of organizing the Y20. And I'm sure, I'm certain, I'm convinced that it's going to be one of its kind Y20 event that are happening across India. I came to Pondicherry 45 years ago at the age of 2. That was quite below youth. And since then, it has been a very interesting journey. Sri Aurobindo arrived in Pondicherry in 1910 at 4 p.m. on 4th April. And the journey towards human unity, in a sense, started on that day with his arrival in Pondicherry. There's just an interesting parallel that I would like to make. And I think we must remember that when Sri Aurobindo was at his peak in his political field, he was young. He was in his early 30s. When he came to Pondicherry, he was 37. That's just 2 years more than the officially defined age of being youth. And so he became the #1 leader in India, leading the freedom struggle when he was at the peak of his youth. And he started off his journey of integral yoga when he was a youth. I think that is very essential when we try and connect the vision of G20 and Sri Aurobindo's philosophy of human unity. One earth, one family, and one future. I think there can be no better exponent, there can be no better representative of that essence of G20 than Sri Aurobindo himself. The question is, why Auroville? Auroville symbolizes the spirit of G20. In Auroville, one finds in the essence, in the core, in the philosophy of Auroville, one finds the essence, the core of the G20 philosophy as enunciated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi while India is chairing the G20 presidency. Friends, I would like to recall here the words of the President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, who very interestingly said this. She said, India, which once looked at others for solution to most of its problems, is today emerging as a provider of solutions for the issues faced by the world. Auroville was created by the mother when she was 90 years young. At the height of Cold War in 1968, an Honorable Prime Minister of India in this very spot, under this very spotlight, before this podium, reminded us 5 years ago how in 1968, when the world was divided, when the world was compartmentalized, when Cold War was at its height, the mother at the age of 90 dreamt and conceived of Auroville. And at that time, India was always looking for solutions outwardly. Today there is a reversal, and the world looks to India for solutions, and Auroville was created in order to provide those solutions. Friends, I just want to remind you of certain words that Prime Minister Modi had spoken right here. He had said the purpose of Auroville is to realize human unity, because we are trying to link G20, Y20 and Auroville. Auroville is the youngest experiment of international living and perhaps the only experiment in the world. Why Auroville? Because Auroville is a living laboratory of the experiment of human unity that G20 signifies, and especially India's mantra of G20 signifies. The first high principle of Auroville is that it belongs to all humanity. These are Prime Minister's words. This is a reflection of our ancient credo of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. Second high principle of Auroville, anyone who is willingly in the service of the divine consciousness is entitled to live in Auroville. The third founding principle of Auroville is that it will emerge as the bridge between the past and the future. That is what youth's mandate is. The fourth founding principle of Auroville is that it will connect the spiritual and the material approaches of the contemporary world. And the fifth basic principle of Auroville is that it will be a place of unending learning and constant progress. And Prime Minister adds, the progress of humanity calls for continuous thinking and rethinking so that the human mind does not become frozen into one idea. This is what Auroville represents, and this is what India's presidency of G20 aspires to achieve, realize, and disseminate. I think we need to also remember that it is from India that the call for a human-centric globalization went out. At the height of COVID, when the world was being convoluted, when the world was being convulsed, Prime Minister gave the call for a need for a human-centric globalization. No one is to be left aside, no one is to be left behind. And a few days ago, addressing the Voice of Global South Summit, India's voice was again heard categorically when Prime Minister said, in order to re-energize the world, we should together call for a global agenda of respond, recognize, respect, and reform. Friends, if we look at India today, if we look at India's presidency of the G20, it has come at a very propitious moment. And this moment is indeed propitious because, as Dr. Jayanti Ravi very rightly said, we are at the 75th anniversary of India's freedom. We are observing Sri Aurobindo's 150th year. Our generation started off our life, we came into the world, in the sense we were ready to take on the world when India was celebrating her 50th year of independence. And Sri Aurobindo's 150th was being celebrated. Sri Aurobindo's 50th was, 125th was being celebrated. And our generation has moved on, and a new generation has come, the generation of Amrit Kal. It is this generation which is going to define India's direction in the next 25 years. It is this generation which will lead India post the centenary of our independence and when we celebrate Sri Aurobindo's 175th year. These are some thoughts that I wanted to leave you with. At the end, I just take a minute in order to place before you the Y20 agenda. And the Y20 agenda has 5 verticals to it. We have a good and a very articulate section of the Y20 cohort which has come here to participate in the Y20 program. And I'm extremely delighted and honored that Honorable Prime Minister of India selected Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation as the Y20 Secretariat. Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee himself was youth when he became the first Union Minister for Industry. He became the youngest Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University at the age of 33, a record which continues to be unbroken even today. And therefore, in our deliberations, we came up with 1, the future of work, industry, innovation, and 21st century skills. 2, climate change and disaster risk reduction, making sustainability a way of life. 3, and I do not know whether you know this or not, your chairman is one of the finest peace builders, is one of the finest negotiators that independent India has ever seen. And his contribution to ushering in an era of peace in the Northeast is unparalleled, and I hope that also will be recorded someday. Today, when we see peace in Nagaland, when we see peace in Mizoram, when we see peace in the entire Northeast, it is led by Prime Minister Modi. It is effectuated by lieutenants like him. And that inspired me to include peace building and reconciliation, ushering in an era of no war as one of the verticals for consultation in Y20. 4, shared future, youth in democracy and governance, because India today is seeing the largest and most active participation of youth in policy making and in the democratic process. And last is health, well-being, and sports agenda for youth, which is extremely relevant to Auroville as well. I would like to thank you, express my deep gratitude to Auroville, to all those who are gathered here, and my profound gratitude to Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, who guide us, who inspire us, who nurture us, and who sustain us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that amazing and inspiring message of linking Sri Aurobindo, the works, Auroville, and the agenda of Y20. On that note, I now invite Divya Swaroop, the chairperson of the Women's League Foundation, who in her own right is an amazing, inspiring person, sharing with the youth what her journey has been like and taking forward what is it that the youth can do to participate.
First of all, I would like to express my deep respects to all the dignitaries on the stage, and it's been an absolute pleasure and honor to be standing in front of you today. Remember that you are at an exceptional hour in a unique epoch, that you have this great happiness, this invaluable privilege of being present at the birth of a new world, as mentioned by Sri Aurobindo. This year, while we celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of the great visionary, Sri Aurobindo, today I'm feeling extremely blessed and honored to be standing at the world's most diverse spiritual community, which is the Auroville and the unique ashramam that creates a bridge between India's ancient past and the future of humankind. The mother quoted, "There should be somewhere upon earth a place that no nation could claim as its sole property, a place where all human beings of goodwill, sincere in their aspiration, could live freely as citizens of the world, obeying one single authority that is of the supreme truth." This quote strongly resonates with the theme of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is, we have heard it several times. What is it? One earth, one family, one future. Can you repeat it again? One earth, one family, and one future. Fantastic. And what could be a better place in the world than this Auroville to host the Y20 summit? A big round of appreciation to the management of Auroville for giving this wonderful opportunity. Thank you once again. The youth are the stakeholders of the present and the builders of tomorrow. You're a competitive force that can shake the world. You will uphold peace, ensure gender equality, mitigate climate change, and spread intercultural diversity. Y20 amplifies the voice of all you young people. Youth, and that is you, are all the agents of change that the world needs. And now, again, let me introduce. My name is Divya Swapna Raj, the founder of Women's League Foundation. And let me tell you, and thanks for the opportunity to come here and express what we as an organization could contribute to the theme of Y20. So the first theme is, there are 5 themes as Sir rightly said. The first theme is the future of work, Industry 4.0, which is also about innovation and 21st century skills. So what we do at WLF, Women's League Foundation, through this is, we equip the women and the girl children with the future skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, digital literacy, and communication that are essential for success in this rapidly ever-changing world. The next is encouraging entrepreneurship. We help the women entrepreneurs who are aspiring and also currently pursuing entrepreneurship. We help them in getting them the bank loans. We help them in strategizing the business, create market linkages, and also extend other business support. And access to digital infrastructure. Providing young people with access to digital technologies, we have also adopted 2 villages and 1 slum development board, which consists of more than 1,000 houses and a lakh of people. There we have constructed, had a skill development centers where we teach them on various computer skills. Pardon? Okay. Thank you so much. Is it clear now? Thank you. So, coming to digital infrastructure, we also set up various computer centers in the adopted villages that we have adopted, and also teach the women and the children then on various skills, which is computers and so on and so forth. Now, coming to the next one, which is the climate change and disaster risk reduction, making sustainability a way of life. We also have self-help groups which are mainly working towards creating cloth bags, and we also have another self-help group which is also working on bamboo and other related products. This is what we are contributing in terms of this particular theme. And now coming to the peace building and the reconciliation, ushering in an era of no war. As I was referring about one of the project, which is in Perumbakam, which is one of the highest, which is one of the zones with the highest crime rate. So children as young as 10 years are exposed to drugs. There are teenage pregnancies, there are also child marriages. So in this particular place, if you see, this is the highest crime rate in the city. So what we have done is we have started various centers and we have engaged the children. What we do there is we help them, we also engage them in sports. We engage them in, we have formed groups called the child leaders. For example, there are like 192 buildings there. So we have identified children there who are actually representing each of the buildings, which has got like 192 houses. So they come and tell us like what exactly issues are running, in that particular building is happening. For example, if they find out like someone going through, exposing to drugs, we get the information and then we act accordingly. So that is something we are organizing, we are working on that. And also apart from that, taking proactive measures like engaging them in community building activities and also in the sports. And moving on, shared future, youth in democracy and governance. So there we focus more on providing mentorship and training to women, young women and the girl children. So this is what we are doing and in Women's League Foundation, which we are working towards the 4 of the 5 themes, which is contributing to the G20 presidency. And thank you so much once again for the opportunity to all the dignitaries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divya, for sharing with us what's the kind of work that you do. And it's with great pleasure now I invite Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Pondicherry, Dr. Thamilsai Soundarajan. Please give her a big applause. She has been inspiring in many ways with her stories, with her work, and her astute leadership.
இங்கு கூடியிருக்கும் அனைவருக்கும் முதற்கண் என் வணக்கத்தை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். தமிழகத்தின் ஆளுநர் மரியாதைக்குரிய மாண்புமிகு திரு ரவி அவர்களுக்கும், இங்கே இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் மிகச் சிறப்பாக ஒரு இளைஞராக எப்படி திரு அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் இளமை பருவத்தில் இந்தியாவின் இளைஞர்களுக்கு அறைகூவல் விடுத்தார் என்பதை மிக தெளிவாக எடுத்துச் சொன்ன டாக்டர் அனிர்பான் கங்குரி அவர்களுக்கும், இங்கே செயலாளராக மட்டுமல்லாமல் இந்த பகுதிக்கு ஒரு தாய் போலவே இருந்து இந்த பகுதி எல்லா விதத்திலும் அன்னை என்ன கனவு கண்டார்களோ அந்த கனவை நனவாக்க தினமும் பாடுபட்டு கொண்டிருக்கும் செயலர் மரியாதைக்குரிய திருமதி ஜெயந்தி ரவி அவர்களுக்கும், மற்றும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற விமென்ஸ் லீக் ஃபவுண்டேஷனை சார்ந்த திவ்யா ஸ்வப்னராஜ் அவர்களுக்கும் மிக தெளிவாக தனது நிறுவனம் எந்த அளவிற்கு இளைஞர்களுக்கு உதவி செய்கிறது என்பதை சொல்லி, இங்கே இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அஃபிஷியல் ரெப்ரசன்டேட்டிவ் ஃபலிட் சிஜாரியா அவர்களுக்கும், திரு டாக்டர் ஆனந்த் ரெட்டி அவர்களுக்கும், திரு நிர்மா ஓசா அவர்களுக்கும், மற்றும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற ஆரோவில் நிர்வாகத்தை சார்ந்த ஒவ்வொருவருக்கும், எல்லாவற்றிற்கும் மேலாக இந்த Y20 என்ற மாநாட்டிற்கு வருகை தந்திருக்கும் இளைஞர்களான மாணவ மாணவிகளுக்கு எனது சிறப்பு வணக்கத்தை நான் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். 4வது மாதம் 4வது தேதி 4 மணிக்குத்தான் திரு அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் புதுவைக்கு வந்து சேருகிறார்கள். ஆக இது மிக வரலாற்று முக்கியத்துவம் வாய்ந்த ஒரு நிகழ்வு. அந்த நிகழ்வை இங்கே மனதில் வைத்துக்கொண்டு இப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு நிகழ்ச்சியை நடத்துவது உண்மையிலேயே பாராட்டுக்குரியது. அதனால் ஆரோவில் நிர்வாகத்திற்கும் மரியாதைக்குரிய சகோதரி ஜெயந்தி ரவி அவர்களுக்கும் எனது சிறப்பு பாராட்டை நான் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். ஏனென்றால் இளைஞர்களை நோக்கித்தான் மரியாதைக்குரிய அரவிந்தர் அவர்களின் குரல் இருந்தது. இளைஞர்கள் எப்படி இருக்க வேண்டும்? ஏனென்றால் சுதந்திர கனல் நமது நாட்டில் கொழுந்துவிட்டு எரிந்து கொண்டிருந்த பொழுது அவரெல்லாம் தீவிரவாதியாக இந்த நாட்டிற்காக பணியாற்றி கொண்டிருந்த நேரத்தில் ஒரு ஆன்மீகவாதியாக, ஆனால் அதே நேரத்தில் நமது நாட்டுப்பற்றை எந்த விதத்திலும் விட்டு விடாமல் அவர் இந்த நாட்டிற்கு பணியாற்றியது. அது மட்டுமல்ல, எங்கோ பிறந்து எங்கோ வளர்ந்த அவர் புதுவைக்கு வந்து புதுமை சேர்த்திருக்கிறார் என்பதுதான் இந்த புதுவை மண் செய்த மிகப்பெரிய பாக்கியம் என்று நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அதனால்தான் மரியாதைக்குரிய திரு அரவிந்தர் அவர்களின் 150வது பிறந்த நாள் விழாவை கொண்டாடும் பொழுது நமது பாரத பிரதமர் இதைத்தான் சொன்னார். அவர் இந்த நாட்டிற்கு மட்டும் விடுதலை வேண்டும் என்று நினைக்கவில்லை, ஒரு ஆன்மீக விடுதலை, ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் ஃப்ரீடம் இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று நினைத்தார். அதுதான் இந்த இளைஞர்களுக்கு வழிகாட்டியாக இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று. அரவிந்தர் அவர்களை படிக்க படிக்க படிக்க, இளைஞர்கள் இங்கே எல்லோரும் இருக்கிறீர்கள், நம் நாடு சுதந்திரம் அடையும் பொழுது எந்த வித கனல் கொழுந்து விட்டு எரிந்து கொண்டிருந்தது. அது மட்டுமல்ல, இங்கே அரவிந்தர் மட்டுமல்ல, நான் மிகவும் நேசிப்பது, நினைத்து நினைத்து மகிழ்வது அரவிந்தருக்கும் பாரதியாருக்கும் இருந்த நெருங்கிய உறவு, நட்பு. நம்மூர் பாரதியார் வடநாட்டில் இருந்து வந்த அரவிந்தருக்கு அவர் வடமொழி சொல்லிக் கொடுப்பதும், இவருக்கு அவர் தமிழ் மொழி சொல்லிக் கொடுப்பதும் ஆக ஒரு தேசிய ஒற்றுமைக்கு மிகச்சிறந்த உதாரணமாக அரவிந்தரும் பாரதியாரும் இருந்தார்கள் என்றால் மிக இல்லை. பாரதியார் எப்படி அச்சமில்லை அச்சமில்லை அச்சம் என்பதில்லையே, உச்சி மீது வானிடிந்து வீழுகின்ற போதிலும் அச்சமில்லை அச்சமில்லை அச்சம் என்பதில்லையே என்று பாடினாரோ, அதே போல அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் அச்சமே உணராதவர், எதை பற்றியும் கவலைப்படாதவர். ஆனால் அவர் கவலைப்பட்ட ஒன்று, இந்த நாட்டிற்கு சுதந்திரம் கிடைக்க வேண்டும், அதே நேரத்தில் நம் இளைஞர்கள் ஒரு மிக பிரம்மாண்டமான ஒரு எதிர்காலத்தை மன நிம்மதியோடு ஆக்கப்பூர்வமாக அடைய வேண்டும் என்பதுதான். அவர் இளைஞர்களை பற்றி சொல்கிறார், நான் இந்த இளைஞர்களுக்கு அறைகூவல் விடுகிறேன், நீங்கள் எல்லோரும் ஆக்கப்பூர்வமான பணியில் ஈடுபட வேண்டும் என்பது மட்டுமல்ல, அவர் என்ன சொல்கிறார் என்றால், மனிதாபிமானமற்ற தேசப்பற்று பலனில்லை என்று சொல்கிறார். தேசப்பற்றை பேசிக்கொண்டிருந்த அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் நேஷனலிசம், டிவோர்சிங் ஹியூமனிட்டி இஸ் நாட் யூஸ்ஃபுல். ஆக நாம் மனிதாபிமானத்தோடு இருப்பதுதான் இந்த நாட்டிற்கு நல்லது என்பதை ஸ்ரீ அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் போதித்தார்கள். ஸ்ரீ அரவிந்தரும் அன்னையும் சேர்ந்து இந்த நாட்டில் ஒரு மிகவும் அமைதியான, இங்கே ஏற்கனவே பல பேர் சொன்னதை போல G20 என்பது நமக்கு ஒரே பூமி, ஒரே குடும்பம், ஒரே எதிர்காலம். இது நமது பாரத பிரதமர் கொடுத்த மிக அழகான வாக்கியங்கள். ஆக இந்த வாக்கியங்கள் இப்பொழுது மட்டுமல்ல, தமிழகம் இதற்கு முன்னால் எப்போ யாதும் ஊரே, யார் சொன்னது? கணியன் பூங்குன்றனார். ஆக உலகத்திற்கே 5000 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு முன்னாலேயே யாதும் ஊரே யாவரும் கேளீர் என்று சொல்லி வைத்தவர் தமிழ்நாட்டை சார்ந்தவர்கள், புதுவையை சார்ந்தவர்கள். இன்று உலகம் முழுவதும் இந்த குரல் ஒலிக்கிறது என்றால் அதற்கு பெருமைப்பட வேண்டியவர்கள் நாம் என்பதை நான் இங்கே பதிவு செய்கிறேன். அதனால்தான் மரியாதைக்குரிய அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் இங்கே வந்த பின்பு பாரதியாரோடு சேர்ந்து, அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் ஒரு அறைக்குள்ளே இருப்பார்கள், பாரதியாரை பார்த்து மட்டும்தான் அவர்கள் 2 பேரும் உரையாடுவார்கள். அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு அமைதியான வாழ்க்கையில் இன்னும் சொல்கிறார் அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள், நம் தேசத்திற்கு விடுதலை தேவைதான், ஆனால் இந்த விடுதலை எப்படி இருக்க வேண்டும் என்றால், என் நாட்டு கலாச்சாரம் என்ற அஸ்திவாரத்தின் மேல் இந்த நாட்டின் வளர்ச்சி என்ற கட்டடம் கட்டப்பட வேண்டும். இந்த நாட்டின் வளர்ச்சி என்ற கட்டிடம் எனது கலாச்சாரம் என்ற அஸ்திவாரத்தின் மேல் கட்டப்படவில்லை என்றால் அதற்கு எந்த பலனும் கிடையாது என்று சொல்கிறார். ஆக நம் நாட்டு கலாச்சாரம், அது மட்டுமல்ல, அவர் அந்நிய கலாச்சாரத்தை அவர் என்றுமே நிந்தித்ததில்லை. என்ன சொல்கிறார்? அந்நிய கலாச்சாரத்தில் இருக்கும் நல்லவற்றை கூட எடுத்துக்கொள்ளுங்கள் என்று சொல்கிறார். ஆக இதைத்தான் நம் நாடு நமக்கு போதித்து கொண்டிருக்கிறது. அதனால் இங்கே நாமெல்லாம் சுதந்திர போராட்டத்தை, நான் உங்களிடம் கேட்டுக்கொள்வது, திரு அரவிந்தர் அவர்களை நீங்கள் படிக்க வேண்டும், அனைத்து சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்களையும் பற்றி நாம் படிக்க வேண்டும். ஏனென்றால் அரவிந்தர் எந்த மாநிலத்தில் பிறந்தாரோ அங்கே இருந்து சுபாஷ் சந்திரபோஸ் என்ன சொல்கிறார், மகாத்மா காந்தி என்ன சொன்னார், இங்கே உள்ள வாவு சிதம்பரம் பிள்ளை என்ன சொன்னார், பாரதியார் என்ன சொன்னார், வாவேசு ஐயர் என்ன சொன்னார், ஆக வாஞ்சிநாதன் என்ன சொன்னார், நமது சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்கள். அதனால்தான் மரியாதைக்குரிய பாரத பிரதமர் இந்த ஆசாதி கா அம்ருத் மகோத்சவ் என்று 75வது ஆண்டை கொண்டாடும் பொழுது சொன்னார், எல்லோரையும் பற்றி படியுங்கள், அறியப்படாத அன்சங் ஹீரோஸ் பற்றி படியுங்கள். ஆக அரவிந்தரை பற்றி படியுங்கள், அதே நேரத்தில் அறியப்படாத வீரர்களை பற்றியும் நீங்கள் படிக்க வேண்டும். ஏனென்றால் இங்கே ஏற்கனவே சொல்லும் பொழுது சொன்னார், அவர் ரொம்ப சின்ன வயசிலேயே 2 வயதிலேயே புதுவைக்கு வந்தேன் என்று திரு அனிர்பான் கங்குலி சொன்னார். 2 வயதுல குழந்தையிலே அவர் வந்தார். அப்பத்திலிருந்தே அவர் தேசிய சேவையில் ஈடுபட்டு இருக்கிறார். அது மட்டும் இல்ல, அரவிந்தர் 37 வயதில் இளைஞராக இருக்கும் பொழுதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு 35 வயசு வரைக்கும் இளைஞர், 2 வயசை தாண்டிட்டுன்னு சொன்னார். ஆனா இப்பெல்லாம் இங்க அரசியல் கட்சி தலைவர்கள் 70 வயசு ஆனாலும் இளைஞர்கள் என்று தான் சொல்லிக் கொள்கிறார்கள். அதனால அரவிந்தர் 37 வயதுல எல்லாம் இளைஞர் இல்லை என்றெல்லாம் சொல்ல முடியாது. ஆக அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு இளைஞராக இந்த நாட்டிற்கு வந்து, இளைஞரின் அந்த அனுபவம் நாம் இன்னைக்கு நினைக்கிறோம், இளைஞராக இருந்தால் என்ன, நாம் உடனே சினிமாவுக்கு போகணும், அம்மா அப்பா என்ன சொன்னாலும் நான் ஹோட்டலுக்கு போகணும், நான் சாப்பிடணும், நான் வீக்கெண்டை என்ஜாய் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு நாம் நினைக்கிறோம். ஆனால் நாம் அப்படி நினைத்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற இதே இளமை காலத்தை தான் நம்மை சார்ந்த நம் நாட்டை சார்ந்தவர்கள் சுதந்திர போராட்டத்தில் தனது இளமையை இழந்து கொண்டிருந்தார்கள் என்பதை நாம் உணர வேண்டும். உதாரணத்திற்கு சுபாஷ் சந்திர போஸை பற்றி சொன்னால், அவர் வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு சென்று, ஏனென்றால் இப்பொழுது நாம் இந்த இடம் என்பது பல நாடுகளில் உள்ள மக்கள் எல்லாம் ஒன்றாக வாழ வேண்டும் என்பதற்கு உதாரணமாக ஏற்படுத்தப்பட்ட ஒரு பூமி இந்த ஆரோவில். இதே போலத்தான் சுபாஷ் சந்திர போஸ் அவர்கள் நம் நாட்டிற்கு சுதந்திரம் கிடைக்க வேண்டும் என்று எல்லா நாட்டை சார்ந்தவர்களும் அதில் பங்கு இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று கூட்டி வருகிறார். கூட்டி வந்து கொண்டிருக்கும் பொழுது நம்ம நாட்டின் எல்லை வருகிறது. எல்லை வந்தவுடன் சுபாஷ் சந்திர போஸ் சொல்கிறார், என் நாட்டின் எல்லை வந்து விட்டது, இதில் இந்த எல்லையை தாண்டும் முதல் 10 பேர் இந்தியராக இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று சொல்கிறார். கூட வந்தவர்கள் பர்மாக்காரர்கள் வந்தார்கள், மலேசியாக்காரர்கள் வந்தார்கள், இன்னும் ஜப்பானை சார்ந்தவர்கள் கூட வந்தார்கள். எல்லோருமே கோபம் வருகிறது. கோபம் வந்தவுடன் அவர்கள் என்ன சொல்கிறார்கள் என்றால், உங்கள் நாட்டிற்கு சுதந்திரம் வாங்கி கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்று அந்நிய நாட்டை சார்ந்தவர்கள் எல்லாம் உன்னோடு வந்து கொண்டு இருக்கிறோம். ஆனால் என்ன சுயநலம் பார்த்தியா, உன் நாடு என்று வந்தவுடன், உன் எல்லை என்று வந்தவுடன், இந்த எல்லையை தாண்டும் முதல் 10 பேர் இந்தியர்களாக இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று சொல்கிறாயே என்று சொன்னபோது சுபாஷ் சந்திர போஸ் சொல்கிறார், இல்லை, இந்த நாட்டின் எல்லையை தாண்டும் போது நம் நாட்டை ஆண்டு கொண்டிருப்பவர்கள் அந்நியர்கள். அவர்கள் துப்பாக்கி எடுப்பார்கள், சுடுவார்கள், நெஞ்சில் குண்டுகள் பாயும், ரத்தம் கீழே விழும். அந்த பூமியில் விழும், என் நாட்டின் பூமியில் விழும் முதல் ரத்தம் இந்திய ரத்தமாக இருக்க வேண்டும் என்பதற்காகத்தான் முதல் 10 பேர் இந்தியர்களாக எல்லையை தாண்ட வேண்டும் என்று நான் சொல்கிறேன் என்று சொன்னார். அப்பொழுதெல்லாம் சுபாஷ் சந்திர போஸிற்கு வயது என்ன? அதே போல இங்கே அரவிந்தர் அவர்கள் 35, 37 வயதில் எல்லாம் இந்த நாட்டில் உள்ள இன்பங்களை அனுபவிக்க வேண்டிய வயது. பாரதியாருக்கு அப்பொழுது வயது என்ன? பாரதியார் 39 வயதில் இறந்தே போய்விட்டார். அப்பொழுது நம் முன்னுள்ள கடமைகள் என்ன? இதுதான் உங்களுக்கு நான் வைக்கும் கேள்வி. நம் நாடு இன்று சுதந்திர காற்றை சுவாசிக்கிறோம், சுதந்திரமாக நடக்கிறோம், சுதந்திரமாக பேசுகிறோம், சுதந்திரமாக வாக்களிக்கிறோம், சுதந்திரமாக படிக்கிறோம், சுதந்திரமாக சினிமாவுக்கும் போறோம், பீச்சுக்கும் போறோம். ஆனா இந்த சுதந்திரம் யாரால் கிடைத்தது என்றால், நம் வயதில், உங்கள் வயதில் இந்த நாட்டை பற்றி, தன்னை பற்றி கவலைப்படாமல் இந்த நாட்டை பற்றி கவலைப்பட்ட வீரர்களால், குறிப்பாக திரு அரவிந்தர் போன்றவர்களால் நமக்கு இன்று சுதந்திரம் கிடைத்திருக்கிறது. அதனால் அந்த சுதந்திரத்தை நாம் சரியாக பயன்படுத்த வேண்டும். அதனால்தான் Y20 இளைஞர்களாக நாம் இருப்பவர்கள் நாட்டுப்பற்றோடு இருக்க வேண்டும், கலாச்சாரத்தோடு இருக்க வேண்டும், நம் நாட்டின் பெருமையை அந்நிய நாடுகளுக்கு எடுத்து செல்ல வேண்டும். ஆனால் எந்த விதத்திலும் என் நாட்டின் அடையாளம் குலைந்து விடக்கூடாது, கலைந்து விடக்கூடாது என்பதில் நாமெல்லாம் தெளிவாக இருக்க வேண்டும். விவேகானந்தர் வெளிநாடுகளுக்கெல்லாம் செல்கிறார். வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு சென்று விட்டு வந்து விவேகானந்தரிடம் எல்லோரும் கேட்கிறார்கள், விவேகானந்தர் அவர்களே, வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு செல்வதற்கு முன்னால் இந்தியாவை விரும்புகிறேன் 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 என்று சொல்வீர்களே, இப்பொழுது வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு சென்று விட்டு வந்து விட்டீர்கள், அங்குள்ள வாய்ப்புகள், வசதிகள், மாட மாளிகைகள், கூட கோபுரங்கள் எல்லாவற்றையும் பார்த்து விட்டீர்கள், இப்பொழுது சொல்லுங்கள், இந்தியாவை நீங்கள் விரும்புகிறீர்களா? விவேகானந்தர் சொல்கிறார், எல்லாம் போறதுக்கு முன்னாலே இந்தியாவை நான் விரும்பினேன். இறந்த காலத்துல சொல்றார், உடனே எல்லோரும் சிரிக்க ஆரம்பித்த நேரத்தில் விவேகானந்தர் கூட மாறிட்டார் பாருங்கள். வெளிநாட்டுக்கெல்லாம் போயிட்டு அங்கே உள்ள வசதிகள்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு விவேகானந்தர் கூட மாறிவிட்டார் பாருங்கள் என்று நினைக்கும் போது விவேகானந்தர் சொல்கிறார், வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு செல்வதற்கு முன் இந்த தாய் திருநாட்டை நான் விரும்பினேன், ஆனால் வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு சென்று விட்டு வந்த பின்பு இந்த இந்திய தேசத்தை நான் வணங்குகிறேன் என்று சொன்னார். வணங்குகிறேன் என்று சொன்னார். அதுதான் இந்த பாரத தேசம். அந்த நாட்டு இளைஞர்களாக இருப்பதில் நீங்கள் பெருமை கொள்கிறீர்கள். அதனால் தான் G20 மாநாடாக இருக்கட்டும், Y20 ஆக இருக்கட்டும், என் நாட்டின் பெருமையை இந்த உலகிற்கு பறைசாற்றும் ஒரு மாநாடாக இது இருக்கட்டும். அதனால் இன்றிலிருந்து அறியப்படாத வீரர்களை படிப்போம், திரு அரவிந்தரை படிப்போம். இங்கே சொன்னார்கள் பாருங்கள், அன்னையை பற்றி படிப்போம். நாம் எவ்வளவு உயர்ந்தாலும் என் நாட்டின் கலாச்சாரத்தை எந்த விதத்திலும் குலைத்து விடாமல் என் நாட்டின் அடையாளங்களை வைத்துக்கொண்டே நான் உயர்வேன் என்று சொல்லி உங்களிடம் பேசியதில் மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
That was quite a bit of an energy. So how about each one of us matching that energy with your applause? So it was in 1910, today, we had Sri Aurobindo first come to Pondicherry. About 55 years ago, Auroville was born, and we had people from all over the world come to bring and be a piece of this human unity. And today, we are having the youth from the G20 member nations participating here, and over the next 2 days, continuing to be in an immersive experience to see what Auroville is all about. And we have to thank both the governors, and especially for being the kind inspiration and support for us. So inviting now Honorable Governor and Chairman of Auroville Foundation, Sri Raviji, to continue to inspire us with not only your actions, but with your words that we so need. Thank you so much.
A powerhouse of energy and a very charismatic speaker, Honorable Governor of Telangana and Lieutenant Governor Puducherry, Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan, Director, Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee Foundation, Dr. Anirban Ganguly, Secretary, Auroville Foundation, Dr. Jayanti S. Ravi, Member Governing Body, Auroville Foundation, Dr. Nirima Oja, Official Representative of India of Y20, Sri Falit Sizaria, a young achiever and a dynamic leader, Chairperson, Women's League Foundation, Ms. Divya Swapna Raz, Sri Anand Reddy, other distinguished persons present here, participants, my dear students, அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். For a large number of you who are the first timer at Auroville, Auroville will introduce itself to you in the next 3 days that you are here. It is intended to be an immersive experience, and I would urge you all to really immerse in Auroville to get a sense of it, to experience it, so that at the conclusion of your stay and this conclave, you have the Auroville experience to contribute to Y20 formulations. You all know that Y20 is a very, very important engaging partner of G20. G20, we all know, it's a group of 20 countries. It is not just a number 20. The fact is that these 20 countries account for 85% of the global GDP. This group is a very, very powerful group, is a very influential group. And should this group, that is G20, decide to reshape the destiny of the world, it has the capacity to do so. In many ways, it is far more effective than United Nations, because this group of these countries, they carry so much influence, so much weightage. And when this G20 presidency, G20 itself started, they realized that the leaders of the government alone don't necessarily have the comprehensive understanding of the problems that our people, the world faces. And so they needed to be helped by various groups, different stakeholders, those who are not the leaders of their countries, but in many ways they represent various important segments of those countries and the society. That is why the engagement groups were created. And among the engagement groups, as far as I see, none is as important as Y20. It is important because future is yours. To deliver a safe world, a sustainable world, a livable earth could be a moral obligation of the present generation of leaders. They will fade away into the past. We will all fade away. You have an existential stake in tomorrow. For you, it's a do or die. While the present leadership has a moral obligation, the youth have an existential stake. So you need to take it more seriously in deliberating over the problems that the world faces today and the kind of the world that you would like to have when you come up and when you take the various positions of responsibility in the world, not necessarily the political leadership, the world itself. As a youth, what are your aspirations? What are your expectations? How you would like today? We know that the world is facing numerous crises. And these have been noted in even the theme of the vertical which our Dr. Anirban Ganguly read out. The climate. We all know that our planet Earth is heating up. And as a result, polar ice caps are melting, glaciers are receding, rivers are drying up, forests are getting destroyed. And fury of the elements we are witnessing off and on in different parts of the world. The places which were known to be a cold habitat, they are now, at times they experience heat wave. The places which were known for no rainfall, and they had adapted themselves to the life of rain-scarce life, they are experiencing flood. We know that there are island nations which are fearing that in next few decades they will be wiped off the globe. They will be submerged under the water. Now, this problem is so gigantic and such a threat to the very existence of the earth that it gets the priority. Now you have to see what kind of life is, because all these, the climate crisis that we are witnessing and which is unfolding for tomorrow, is primarily because of our nature of our lifestyle. Reckless exploitation of resources of the earth. Believing that the earth is a resource for the pleasure, for the good of the human being. Exploit it as much as you can. Is it sustainable? No, it is not. So what kind of measures need to be taken to transform, to change the lifestyle so that the earth remains a sustainable place for you tomorrow? Work, technology. Today, technology is essentially, most of the technology, either it is driven by the desire to have greater military power, whether you dominate the space, dominate the ocean, dominate the global common, and demonstrate your power, or for the sensory pleasure of the human being. Make it life as pleasureful as possible. So much so that today, even getting up and switching off the light switch the light button is an issue. You like to do it sleeping on the bed. Now this unending seeking of pleasure, this is giving rise to technologies which are exploitative in nature, exploitative of nature. This is not sustainable. How to have technology which are sustainable? Green technology. Our country is giving a lot of emphasis, India, both in climate, when it comes to the energy, great emphasis on green energy. India is showing the way. I am telling about India because we are having the presidency of G20, so Indian experience to be shared with the rest of the world. That when we are talking about the climate, preserving the climate, we are taking a number of serious measures. One measure is green energy. Today, you would be happy to know that over 40% of India's energy need is through green energy. And by 2030, our 50% will be green energy. We are not going for carbon. And we have set a deadline, very audacious, quite bold, by 2070 to be zero carbon. And we are succeeding. We are moving forward by innovative method. Explore this in a big way, expanding the solar energy, wind energy. These are all given by the divine, given by the nature. And these are inexhaustible. We don't have to exploit the hydrocarbon. Sun is inexhaustible. Wind is going to be there forever. Other alternative sources of energy, renewable energy in a big way. Earth is becoming, our soil is becoming unproductive. Excessive use of chemical fertilizers, the soil is turning less fertile, or in fact becoming fallow. Now green agriculture. In a big way, India is moving towards green agriculture. And when India conducts an experiment with 1.4 billion people, and if it can do it successfully, with the India which accounts for nearly 18 to 20% of the world population, it is an experiment, successful experiment at a very large scale, which can be replicated to the rest of the world as well. Similarly, in case of technology, there is a greater emphasis on green technology. Our researchers are working on it. How to see that the technology, the future technology, is not just a reckless pursuit of sensory pleasure, and in the process keep on creating new and new technologies which keep on adding pressure to the earth, pressure to the resources of the earth, and keep adding to the problem, and by that thereby making it unsustainable. So we are getting great emphasis on green energy, green technology. This is our experience. When it comes to peace, when it comes to war, we all know that war is not an answer, is not, in fact, it creates so much of a problem. It has. Ukraine-Russia war has disrupted the supply chain and it has affected the whole world. We have to find an alternative. And the alternative is a vision. The vision is why the war happens. The war happens because we have apparent differences and each one tries to dominate. The moment you start looking at the world as a family, if you can appreciate this fact that the world is a family, then the differences dissolves. We don't have to fight. And India, this experiment of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is being carried on at the national level, at the international level. At the international level, we are doing what are the problems of the world, like climate. We are doing, India is doing, taking measures how to preserve the climate, how to save it from destructions. Also in terms of technology, India is taking the pioneering lead in coming up with innovative green technology. And the fact that we believe that it is in our country, it is our tradition, it is in our DNA that we believe that we are all part of one family. The same divine illuminates all of us. It's not only humans. When we say unity, human unity, it is not just this unity of Homo sapiens. It is a unity of all those are children of the Mother Earth, whether the humans, the animals, the plants. We are all born out of this Mother Earth from the same mother. We are all a part of a family, and there has to be unity among all this. This is the darshan, this is the sanskar, this is the which is written indelibly into the DNA of every Indian. This is how we. Now this experience has to be shared. And look at this, what is happening today, the Indian magic. The magic that we are seeing in India in the last about a decade under a new national leadership with the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. The transformation that is happening today, you need to appreciate why this is happening, because the transformations that are happening are of incredible nature. Till about 8-9 years ago, India had the dubious distinction of almost 60% open defecation. Today, it is all gone. Long back, not today. By 2019 October, India became open defecation free within a span of just 5 years. This was with a determination that we moved on, the national leadership moved on and involved the people. Involved the people. It is not that the government, it is not that only the government can do it unless the people are part of it, unless the youth are part of it. And in this sanitation drive, youth of India have played a very significant role. It will be an experience for those who are not from this place to know the stories, how the young kids, young children have influenced the parents and the families to go towards sanitation. So young plays a big role. And this is happening, this successful experiment has happened because of the participation of the youth. It's not only that, achievements, incredible. People, power of the people. Today, if we have 500 million people who are connected with, in the financial inclusion with the banks, 500 million account holders, almost nearly half, little less than the half of India's population, every household. has an account. As a result, using the technology, digital, all the direct benefit transfers go to the people. In between all these middlemen, all the losses are now gone. People get what they are supposed to get. People, we had a large number of homeless. In the last some years, we have built 30 million homes. And this has been built not by the government, but by the people themselves. Each one, those who are poor, eligible, all that they needed was to prove their eligibility, that yes, they are poor and worthy of this relief, this benefit. And then through the digital devices and through the GPS, their locations noted, they build the house in different stages, money comes directly to their account. No machinery, there is no government machinery, there is no contractor, there is nobody direct between the people, those who are the beneficiaries, they themselves build the houses. Every house getting access to potable drinking water. India is such a large country, then every problem is of that magnitude. Earlier people thought, this problem is so large, we cannot think of solving it in one go. We can do it only incrementally. Now, incremental address to the problem, whether it is of climate, whether it is of poverty, whether it is of access of need, the basic needs to the people, it has not solved the problem. Our experience for the last over 7 decades has been, all the previous government, we tried to solve the problem, but while we kept solving the problem in part, problem kept increasing, multiplying. We couldn't solve the problem. Now, in the last about a decade, less than a decade, what happened is we approached the problem comprehensively, holistically, and involved the mass, the people. And with the people, this is the magic of the success. All that has happened today, and all that are happening today, the way the country is transforming itself is because the vision of the national leadership and participation of the people. And when we say participation of the people, means participation of the youth. Till about few years back, in our country, in our India, we had less than 500 startup. Less than 500. We were nowhere. Today, we are over 100,000 startup. 100,000. Imagine from 500 to 100,000 in just a span of 7-8 years. It's because the trust in the people. Yes, they have energy. They have the latent potential. They have the ideas. They have the energy. Create a conducive atmosphere for them to unleash their energy, unleash their creative energy, and the change will happen. Now we have on the dais one very charismatic, dynamic leader, Divyaji. She was a successful woman. She was a successful woman in her own right. She had a good career. But at some point of time, something struck her, said, no, she must do something for the women empowerment. We have been talking about women empowerment. She created a body, a Women League Foundation. You call it Women Foundation League. Women League Foundation. And she has touched and transformed the lives of hundreds of people. I had the privilege of felicitating her at the Raj Bhavan some time back, because they are the people who mark the face of young India. The young India, the youth of India. What are the changes which are happening? People outside still feel that they have the perception, the image of India as the country where all those things which were not very charitable, they talk about. But what is happening today in India? Youth need to. I'm sure you have a number of other successful achievers present here. In the next couple of days, they will share their experience with you, and you will get to know the face of new young India. These changes are happening at a very, very large scale. And you all who are participating in this conclave, I urge you all to spend the time as much engaged with the place and the people. This place, Auroville, is a unique experiment, people have already told you. I did not repeat. But I would urge you to experience it, because this is an unique place. When we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this is actually the place. More than 60 countries, people are living here. Anyone in any part of the world is welcome here, so long we believe that we are all members of a family. so long as we believe that the differences are all apparent. We are all here, a few hundred people sitting here. We are all looking different, but essentially we are children of the same divine. We are like leaves of a tree. A tree has million leaves. No two leaves are alike. But beyond the tree, leaf has no existence, has no meaning, no identity. So all of us, we are a part of a family. And the global pandemic has proved it. While the climate is hitting us, and hitting us hard, and perhaps hit us harder in future if we don't mend our ways. But global pandemic has taught us that any part of the world, if something happens, it affects the whole world. Rich, powerful, poor, weak, it doesn't spare anyone. We need to learn the lessons from it. And this, unfortunately, what happened is when the global pandemic hit, we all thought that this unforeseen disaster, global disaster, would ignite a sense of compassion among the people, among the rich countries, powerful countries. When vaccines were invented, expectation was that they would share the vaccine with the poor people in the world, those who are less privileged, less fortunate. But that didn't happen. Of course, in India, thanks to our scientists, when we invented the vaccine, we shared the vaccine with people, the needy people, with over 150 countries in the world. This is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But India is living Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in day-to-day life. It is walking the talk. It is not just talking. And when the youth Y20 leaders, all those people, those who are sitting here, when you think and you deliberate and you articulate your aspiration, your expectations, your vision, and when at the end of it, when you crystallize it, when you summarize it, that will be a very, very valuable input for G20 leaders when they meet later part of the year, because this will help them in thinking or rethinking how our youth are thinking, how our youth are aspirational, what is their vision. And I'm sure your recommendations, your articulation of your dreams and aspirations would definitely influence the leaders of G20 and would be able to influence the future of tomorrow, the future of the world, how the tomorrow would look like. So I urge you, friends, all to take part in it, actively take part in it, remain engaged, interact with each other, ask questions, ask yourself questions, ask questions with others, and at the end of it, come up with something which they should be able to take to the national leadership, to the G20 leadership. Thank you very much. I wish you all a very pleasant stay. All those who are from outside, a very pleasant and happy stay. And when you go back with a sweet memory of this place. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much for laying the ground for today's and the next coming days, the theme. Sri Aurobindo had the 5 dreams. You gave us a dream today. There's also the thing in terms of what I loved about is the invitation to participate and going along together. And that the youth need not be stopped at the fact that I'm young, but to carry forward with the same conviction, the same zest, the same energy that Sri Aurobindo brought with us in our spirits. So thank you for bringing us this theme alive and leaving a very powerful message for each one of us. So thank you, governors. Thank you, Anirbanji. Thank you, Falji.
I'd like to invite the young people from different countries, those who are here and those who are from India. This place, come and experience it. You have options. You have options to stay for a short time. You have an option to act as a volunteer, to come and experience and observe. You have, if you like it, as Secretary has already elaborated, you are all welcome. You tell this message to your friends wherever you are, that here is a place on earth where you are welcome. So think of it, taking it as your home. That's the thing which I thought I should share with you. One more thought. Take care.
Yes, indeed, that's the theme, that this is the home and you're welcome to contribute, to volunteering, to come and participate, not just in the vision what Auroville has, but for the human mankind. So with that brief note and segueing into the culture, thank you so much for really making your time, for giving us that inspirational message with all that energy and fueling our fire and our passion to do more. So thank you, Sri Ravi ji, Tamasai ji, Anirban ji, and everyone on the dais, and inviting you to please take a seat before we proceed with the cultural program. And thank you to the Department of Culture of Art and Culture, Department of Art and Culture, the Government of Pondicherry, who is for the next 20-25 minutes going to share with you what has been the struggles, the inspiration of Sri Aurobindo to different art activities. So just give us a couple of seconds before we clear the stage. Just give us 30 seconds here. Can we have the lights off the stage, please? Yeah, they all are staying. So while we are waiting, heartfelt gratitude to the Department of Art and Culture, the Government of Puducherry, who will, through different 6 acts of art forms, presenting the struggles of Sri Aurobindo and what it took on for him in the years that he spent his time here. So going to invite the Department of Art and Culture to take it on from here. Thank you so much.
Namaskaram. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. On behalf of all of the artists who will be performing today, I humbly thank the audience members and the delegates and the honored guests of this evening. Today we will begin with an invocatory piece that we have titled Prabhavam. And It perfectly describes the South Indian tradition of lighting a lamp, as you might have seen today. We light a lamp to depict the light in our lives, to show that we are the ones who hold the candle in the fire. Presenting to you Prabhavam by Dr. Abhayakaram Krishnan and Troupe.
Sani pama ni pamare pamari sa re ma pa
Tangada taka junu tam.
Sani pama ni pamare pamari sa re ma pa
Tarikita tam.
re ma ba ni sa re ma ba ni sa re sa
Tangada taka junu tam.
sa re ma ni sa re sa ni pamare ma re ha ni to nam ni si ni sa pa ni pa pa ni pa ma re ma re ni sa ni to nam ni si ni sa pa ni pa pa ni pa ma re ma re ni sa Pani ma pani sa ni sa ni sa sa ni sa sa ni sa sa ni sa pani ma pani sa ni sa pani ma pani sa ni sa ni sa sa ni sa sa ni sa sa ni sa pani ma pani sa ni sa
we continue to experience Rasa Anubhava. Rasa meaning emotion and Anubhava is to feel. And today's would be full of pride because the next team that is coming up to perform will be depicting the beauty and power that the land of Puducherry holds. Presenting to you Rasa Anubhava by Kalaimamani Dr. K. Rajamanikam and troupe.
Pama pada pama pa pama garega sari re mama pa pama garega ma pama pada pama pa pama garega pama ma pa pada dani isa ni da sa ni sa ni sa ni sa sa ni da pama ni sa dani pada ma pama garega ni sa dani pada ma pama garega sari re mama pa pada sa ni da pa புதுமை படைத்து புகழ் சேர்க்கும் புதுவை வந்தோரை வாழ்வித்து மகிழ்விக்கும் புதுவை புதுமை படைத்து புகழ் சேர்க்கும் புதுவை வந்தோரை வாழ்வித்து மகிழ்விக்கும் புதுவை தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தரிக்கிட்ட தூம் தீம் தக்க தீம் தக்க தீமி தக்க தீம் தரிக்கிட்ட தக்கதும் தரிக்கிட்ட தக்கதும் தரிக்கிட்ட தக்கத தீம் தக்க தீம் தக்க தீமி தக்க தீம் தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்க தீம் தக்க தீம் தக்க தீம் தக்கிட்ட தும் தக்க தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்க தீம் தக்க தீமி தக்க தீமி தக்கிட்ட 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 தக்கிட்டதாம் புதுமை படைத்து புகழ் சேர்க்கும் புதுவை வந்தோரை வாழ்வித்து மகிழ்விக்கும் புதுவை புதுமை படைத்து புகழ் சேர்க்கும் புதுவை வந்தோரை வாழ்வித்து மகிழ்விக்கும் புதுவை சனி சனி சரி கரி சனி சரி சனி சனி சரி பம பக மரி சனி சனி சரி கரி சனி சரி பம தப நித சனி தப மகரி சனி சனி சரி கரி சனி சரி சனி சனி சரி பம பக மரி சனி சனி சரி கரி கம பம பத பனித சனி சனி தப மக மபத ஆன்மீகம் கலைகள் அழகோடு மக்கள் அன்புடன் வாழும் அழகிய புதுவை ஆன்மீகம் கலைகள் அழகோடு மக்கள் அன்புடன் வாழும் அழகிய புதுவை புதுமை படைத்து புகழ் சேர்க்கும் புதுவை வந்தோரை வாழ்வித்து மகிழ்விக்கும் புதுவை கமபதனி சனித சா கரி கரி சனி தனி சா கமபதனி சனித சா கரி கரி சனி தனி சா கரி சனி சனி கரி சனி தரி சனி சனி த ரி சனி த பம பத பதனி ரி சனி த பம பக மரி கசரி நிரி பக சித்தர்கள் யோகியர் கவிஞானிகள் வாழ்ந்த புண்ணிய நகரம் புதுவை இதுவே சித்தர்கள் யோகியர் கவிஞானிகள் வாழ்ந்த புண்ணிய நகரம் புதுவை இதுவே தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தக்கிட்ட தீம் தீம் தத்தீம் தக்க தத்தீம் தக்க தாங்கிட்ட தக்க தரிக்கிட்ட தக்க தீங்கிட்ட தக்க தரிக்கிட்ட தக்க தரிக்கிட்ட தரிக்கிட்ட தீம் தத்தீம் தக்க தத்தீம் தக்க தரிக்கிட்ட தும் தரிக்கிட்ட தும் தரிக்கிட்ட தும் தரிக்கிட்ட தும் தக்க 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 தும் சித்தர்கள் யோகியர் கவிஞானிகள் வாழ்ந்த புண்ணிய நகரம் புதுவை இதுவே சித்தர்கள் யோகியர் கவிஞானிகள் வாழ்ந்த புண்ணிய நகரம் புதுவை புதுவை இதுவே. தீம் தீம் தனன தீம் தனதிரன 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 திரன தீம் தனன தில்லான திரன தீம் தீம் திரன திரன தனதிரன திரன தீம் தனன தில்லான திரன தீம் தீம் திரன திரன தனதிரன தீம் தீம் தனன தீம் 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 தனதிரன. நித்தம் புகழும் வேதபுரி புதுவை மக்கள் இனிதுடன் வரவேற்கின்றோம். நித்தம் புகழும் வேதபுரி புதுவை மக்கள் இனிதுடன் வரவேற்கின்றோம் வரவேற்கின்றோம்.
What is a cultural event without highlighting all the arts that make the land? We will be watching a beautiful folk art most of us are familiar with, Tappatam. Tappu is a flat drum and Atam is to dance. We will watch men and women join together as they beat their drums, make the music and dance themselves. Presenting to you Tappatam by Prakash and Troop. we are going to take you over to another classical piece of this evening. But this one is going to be a little bit different, where we're going to talk more in terms of Mother Nature and Mother India. It describes the inevitable beauty of all the lands and all the culture, tradition, and all that we can offer here as Bharat Mata. Presenting to you Vande Mataram by Dr. V. Balagurunathan and his troupe. as we let the artists set up the stage, let me give you a little bit of introduction into what's coming next. We all know that India has a long history of warriors. We call them Kshatriyas. And they too had an art, and it was called the martial arts. And it was not just performed by warriors. They were performed by your kings and queens and the ones who ruled this land and protected it. Today we are going to witness Mallar Kambam, an art, a martial art and a skill that is indigenous to the land of Puducherry. Mallar, defining the warrior or the Kshatriya here, and Kambam, the pole that they hold on to and balance and describe and exhibit their martial art and skill with. We are going to watch some amazing men and women coming up on stage exhibiting their valor through the performance of Mallar Kambam, presented to you by Dr. K. Ganesh and his troupe.
big round of applause to that talent. Can I invite all the artists on the stage? All those who performed today, can you just please come on the stage? Also request, before Dr. Jayanti Ravi reads the thank you note from Mangalda, just want to be able to give a small token of appreciation and gratitude to these young budding artists who really enthralled us. Anu, can you please come onto the stage? Jaya, Geeta, Selvaraj. Can I have all the artists come over here, please? A big round of applause. Keep it going. You can get tired. That's not what I'm going to accept. So you've got to match what they did and much more. The students, please wait. Just please wait. Can I invite the director of the Department of Art and Culture, Shri Perumal, and the entire staff, courtesy whose efforts this team has here come in. Yeah, the entire staff. Please give them a huge round of applause. Anu, can you please honor the director in the white shirt? Anu. Jaya. Can you Jaram show them? Both of you together, Sarvaraj and Geeta. So all the students with gratitude, please come forward. Come on everyone, a big round of applause for them. Truly, truly appreciated. Let's hear this roof come down with your thunderous applause. Thank you so much. It was grace, it was beauty, it was flawless, and truly mesmerizing. So, Shri Anirbanji and the team, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, they are our symbols of youth for tomorrow as part of art and culture. Inviting Shri Mangal Kutari on the stage, please. Partha. Dr. Nirima Ocha. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm just going to now invite Dr. Jayanti Ravi to read a thank you note from Manoj Shah.
On behalf of all of us at Auroville, the chairman, Dr. Shri Arin Ravi, the Lieutenant Governor of Pondicherry also, Dr. Tamilisai Soundarajan, and all of us here want to give again a very big thanks to all of you. I think great job. A big round of applause. Maybe you can all stand up and give an applause to them. It will also, they say sitting is the new smoking. So you can stand up, exercise yourselves, and a nice round of applause. Thank you so much. As Anirbanji was saying, this is India. This is the real India, and this is the real spectacular Y20 beginning. So thank you again. I want to also take a minute to express our gratitude. There are three entities which are the children of Mother, the Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Sri Aurobindo Society, and Auroville. We're all three children of the same mother, and we have a very beautiful message from Manoj Da from the Sri Aurobindo Ashram. He has conveyed his best wishes for the success of the programs Y20. So this is best wishes to all of us, and they're organizing the Garba for tomorrow evening, where all of you will be shaking a leg and doing this collective dance. I also want to convey a message from a senior Aurovillian. He calls himself, somebody that we're very grateful to, Sri Dayanandji, because he was the one who actually struggled from place to place and got nearly 70% of the land that today Auroville has. And he has sent a message. I congratulate the chairman, secretary, and organizers of this important event. A new world awaits all those who seek a new social order. Do convey the good wishes to the participants of the one who knows what it means to belong to the manifested new world, from J. Dayanandji. So again, thank you all and wish you the very best. This is all offered at the lotus feet of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Let's hope that their grace envelops all of us and we're able to receive that all the time in life. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mangalji, over to you, please.
So, requesting all the, thank you all the students who have come in here from Pondicherry and all of that. There is some refreshment outside. All the Y20, yeah, we're just inviting all the Y20 delegates to please be seated for the next program. In the meantime, can we all stand up for the national anthem, please? Thank you so much, and all the Y20 delegates, please be seated for the next round of instructions. We have Sri Mangal Kothari ji from the Pondicherry Ashram.